My brother vanished for 12 years. Then I found out the truth. I was 8 years old when my brother vanished. One moment we were arguing over who got the last cookie. The next, he was just gone. No note, no phone call, no signs of struggle. Just a missing kid and a family shattered beyond repair. His name was Tyler, 17 at the time. Smart, moody, artistic. He played guitar at night when the house was quiet and drew comics that he never let anyone read. My mom used to call him her little prodigy, but after he disappeared, we stopped saying his name altogether, as if forgetting him would protect us from the truth. It was like living with a ghost, one that no one was allowed to mention. Holidays were quieter, the house felt colder. Even laughter had a guilt edge to it, as if we weren't allowed to feel joy. The police searched for months, flyers, news coverage, candlelight vigils, and nothing. The theories were endless. He ran away, he was kidnapped, he joined some cult. I was just a kid, but I remember listening to my parents whisper at night. My mom thought my dad knew something he wasn't saying. My dad thought Tyler had always been hiding something. Whatever it was, it left a silence in our house so loud I could barely sleep. I remember one night hearing my mom crying in the bathroom with the water running, thinking it would muffle the sound. I sat outside the door with my knees to my chest, hugging my stuffed rabbit. I think that was the night I realized my childhood was over. I stopped waiting for good news. I stopped believing someone would find him. Years passed. Life moved on. Kind of. My parents divorced 2 years later. My mom spiraled into anxiety and pills. My dad got remarried and started pretending like we were a new family. And me? I became the quiet one, the background character in my own life. Every milestone, high school graduation, first kiss, college acceptance, felt hollow, like I was living someone else's life. I used to daydream that Tyler would show up out of nowhere, older but still the same, and that everything would finally make sense. I used to go to the lake we all used to visit in the summer. I'd sit on the dock with a bag of sour gummy worms, his favorite, and just wait. I imagined he'd come walking up the path, his hoodie sleeves pulled over his hands like he always did when he was nervous. But he never did. Still, I waited. I don't know why. Maybe I thought the universe would reward patience. Or maybe I thought that if I stayed still long enough, the world would spin back to the moment he left. Then, 12 years after Tyler vanished, I got an anonymous email. Subject line, "You don't know the whole story." Inside was a single photo. A man in a hoodie, holding a sign that said, "I never left." I stared at it for hours. The face was older, gaunter, but unmistakable. It was Tyler. I didn't tell my mom. She'd been through enough. I forwarded the email to myself on 3 different accounts, screenshot it, printed it out. Then I started digging. The email was sent through a proxy, but with some help from a friend in IT, I traced it to a location 2 hours away, a town I'd never heard of. I took a day off work, told no one, and drove there alone. I found him. He was working at a dusty old record shop under a different name. I watched him from the street for 15 minutes, my hands trembling. Then I went inside. "Can I help you?" he asked. Same voice. Deeper. Still him. I said his name. Not the one on his name tag. His real one. He froze. The next hour is still a blur. We didn't hug. We didn't cry. He just asked if I was alone, then invited me to the back room. It was cluttered with crates of vinyls, some old bean bags, a broken fan humming in the corner. And then he told me everything. The day he disappeared, he'd gotten into a fight with our dad. A bad one. Not just shouting. Fists. My dad had caught him packing to run away and snapped. Tyler said he hit him. Hard. Then told him if he left, he was dead to him. So Tyler left. For good. He stayed with a friend for a few weeks, then couch surfed, picked up odd jobs, and eventually landed in this town. He said he never reached out because he didn't think anyone cared. He thought we'd all moved on. He thought I'd forgotten him. He wasn't hiding. He was surviving. I was furious and heartbroken. I yelled. I sobbed. I told him how he'd wrecked our family, how mom still woke up screaming some nights, how dad had erased him like he never existed. I told him about my own struggles, the panic attacks, the therapy, the years of silence. He just sat there, silent, like he'd already heard it all in his head 1,000 times. Then he handed me a notebook. It was full of letters, all written to me. Every birthday, every Christmas, every random moment when he thought of me. He never sent them, just kept them, in ink. Over the next few weeks, I visited him again and again. We talked for hours, laughed, fought, remembered. He told me things I didn't want to hear, about how poor he'd been, the jobs he'd taken, the people he'd trusted and shouldn't have. He had a scar on his side he wouldn't talk about. He once slept in a bus station bathroom during winter. He nearly overdosed once, a close call that scared him straight. He was living in a 1-bedroom apartment above the shop. No TV, no computer, just stacks of books, milk crates of vinyls, and a half-deflated air mattress. He said the noise from the shop helped him sleep. It made him feel like he wasn't alone. He had a stray cat that visited sometimes. He named it Echo. Eventually, I told my mom. She broke down. The first thing she said was, "Is he okay?" We arranged a meeting. It was messy, beautiful, awkward. He stayed for dinner, and when he left, my mom hugged him so tight I thought they'd both break. She brought out old photos. One of him in a Batman costume when he was 5. He actually smiled. It was the first time I'd seen that in years. They cried together on the couch, watching home videos we hadn't touched in over a decade. Tyler didn't move back, but he came to visit. On birthdays, on holidays. He and Dad never spoke. I think some silences are permanent. My dad never acknowledged his return. He didn't attend the reunion dinner. Some people grieve with bitterness, others pretend. But Tyler and I, we became close, real close. I started inviting him to everything. Sunday dinners, game nights, even a camping trip with some friends. He hadn't slept in a tent since he was 16. He said the fresh air felt like therapy. He carved a little owl out of wood by the fire and gave it to me. I still keep it on my desk. We started a tradition. Every year on the day he disappeared, we spent it together. No distractions, just us. One year we hiked a trail he'd never finished. Another year we visited a music festival he always wanted to go to. This year we sat on the roof of his apartment and watched the stars. A few months ago, I got married. Tyler stood beside me as my best man. He gave a speech that made everyone cry. He started by saying, "I missed 12 years, but I'm never missing another moment." And last week I got another letter from him, addressed to our future kids. He wrote, "Tell them I wasn't gone. I was just waiting to come back whole. Sometimes disappearances aren't about running away. They're about trying to find yourself when the world refuses to let you be who you are. Some disappearances don't end in tragedy. Sometimes they end in forgiveness. Sometimes they begin again. And if you ever get a message that shakes your world, follow it, because you might just find someone you never stopped loving, waiting right there on the other side."